I started doing the YouTube University stuff like late 2022. Probably didn't really take any action until mid 2023. I bought my first 2 houses seller finance like May, June of 2023. And then I did my first flip that year as well.
What is up, my friends? What is up, my friends? We're out here in Dallas, Texas yet again, Squad Up Summit. I got my man Jackson Pierce here with us. I've been looking forward to this. We've been talking for a long time online.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I see you heavily active online all the time, just like myself. So I know that there's a lot of good stuff that we can exchange here. But since everybody else might not know you as much, tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Yeah, like I said, I'm Jack. I've been in the Army for about 6.5 years. I'm planning to transition from active duty to the reserves in December. I'll be at about 7 years at that time. I got into real estate about 2 years ago, just kind of learning the YouTube University stuff. Sent it on a couple of mentorships, and then just kind of have been figuring out like what I want to do when I grow up.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
So I love that you still work the W-2, you still work your day job, and you started obviously while you were still doing that. A lot of people use that as an excuse on why they can't start yet, or it's a holdback. So how have you viewed that, like working your full-time gig and then still doing real estate on the side? How have you attacked that in regards to the way some people make excuses?
Honestly, it's the easiest. It is a justification. And it is one of those things that makes it really hard to do everything. Because at the end of the day, it's like nobody is going to. Can I cuss? Is that okay? I mean, nobody's gonna shit on you.
Please do.
For saying that. I had to get up at 6, and then I had to go to work, and I was at work from 9 to 5:30 or 6, and then I got home and I put my kids to bed, and now it's 7:30 or 8, and it's like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I've been up for 19 hours or something, and I haven't done anything. I'm not gonna go do anything. Nobody would shit on you for saying that. And so, like that word excuse, it is an excuse, but it's like a really good one. It's like you just spent like 18 hours doing everything other than like your side gig, and now it's like now you got to go spend 3 hours on your side gig to wake up in 4 hours. I think that creates a 25-hour day. So there is that. I would say probably there's the one thing that is probably true though is that like everybody has a couple hours before they get to work where they can spend that time listening to a podcast, listening to Zoom calls. That's your education time.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch the Zoom to get the information. So I mean, if that means listening to the same Zoom twice, listen to the same Zoom twice because you're making that commute every day anyways.
Yeah.
And you can listen to like some garbage podcast, or you can listen to something that's gonna give you the knowledge that like at 4:30 p.m. or 5 p.m. when you get off work, it's like, okay, if I'm putting my kids to bed at 7, 7 to like 7:45-ish is bedtime, like, okay, I can justify using an hour after I get home from work where I lock myself in my office and I'm doing work, or I can use my lunch break and do work. I can get breakfast to go or skip breakfast and I can do work during that time. Yeah. So it's really just about like identifying like, hey, what are you actually spending your time on during the day, and trying to change what that like if time is a currency, like what are you spending it on and how are you buying it back?
Yeah. You made a point there, about YouTube University and listening to podcasts, listening to Zoom calls, and a lot of times people think, oh, I want to start my own business. I want to do real estate investing. I want to do this. So they think that means jumping straight into trying to be Pace Morby, right? Like I'm going to build this big giant thing, or the like ridiculous shit that we try to do. Like I want to build something massive. Not everybody does, right? So like when you're working at W-2, especially with some of the people that we lead on a daily basis, like my guidance to them is the first steps is mindset. The first step is raising your level of belief that it is possible. And a lot of that comes from the consumption of knowledge, right? Now, there's also like a very, very thin line of like consuming knowledge and then knowing when to take action with that knowledge, right? And so that's something that I see a lot of people in the W-2 thing do is they get trapped in that YouTube University because they're like, always trying to have it perfect, right? And we actually talked about this a bit earlier. That's because in a general W-2 like job role, somebody's telling you what to do. And so like you have guidance, you have direction, somebody's telling you what to do. And in real estate or any entrepreneurship, you have to figure out that you're on your own. And so it's like they use that as a buffer of like, well, you know, I just need to learn it all first, right? And so how long did it take you to go through YouTube University and like learning of this stuff? I know you sent it on some mentors. I know you're in Sub 2 and other pay stuff. So how long before you like put it into action?
Probably, I would say I started doing the YouTube University stuff like late 2022, and probably didn't really take any action until mid 2023. I bought my first 2 houses seller finance on in like May, June of 2023. And then I did my first flip that year as well. The flip did not go well. I thought I broke even, and Georgia says that I made $10,000 because they taxed me on it. But you know, and even though it's like I went and I was doing the thing. I was like I spent like 7:30 to 8:30 or whatever texting agents on Zillow. I was like, hey, does blah 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 blah. Do you think your seller would be interested in seller finance? Because like Pace told for YouTube to do that, and I landed on a guy who was his own agent. He was self-represented, and he sold me 2 houses on seller financing, and those houses have been teaching me lessons ever since.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lessons like what?
Expensive lessons.
It sounded expensive.
But it's okay because I mean, like, I'm not gonna make those mistakes again.
Yes.
And like what I've really, and I probably didn't need to make those mistakes. Somebody probably could have prevented it. But now I'm trying to put myself in the position to prevent other people from making those mistakes.
Yeah, I see you do a very good job online of protecting other people's money, protecting your reputation through that, and like just generally like looking out for the well-being of the people that you do work with. And I can assume that probably comes from some of the lessons that you've learned, like knowing what, you know, how to get burned and how it feels. And so what are some of the ways that you, as you've started to expand your portfolio more now? I know you mentioned that you did 2, and how many are you at now? And like, how have you used the lessons of what didn't work to take better care of your current deal structure with private money lenders or your own money or whatever?
Yeah, so I started 2023 with or I started 2024 with 4 properties. I finished 2024 with something like 15 or something, more than 2 hands full.
Wow, hell
you gotta start counting toes.
That's a big jump. That's a hell of a year. That's awesome.
It was a lot. I did a lot of that through, I mean, pretty much all of it was different variations of bringing on PMLs and PMPs onto my deals. My very first sub 2 acquisition was actually, that one kind of fell in my lap. I brought a PML on for my entry cost on that one, paid myself $3K. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it was irresponsible how I did it, but it worked out because I was like, well, I'm going to pay him back because why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
Because I'm a grown up.
Right.
But I mean, and even before getting into sub 2, my second sub 2 acquisition was, I brought on a PMP, and that one, I made my PMP a 66% cash on cash return on that property last year. He's gonna be 100% paid back by probably June of this year, I think.
Nice, bro.
So, and that was a really small entry. It was like 15K entry, and that included like reserves and everything. Like it was tenant was moved in 2 days later.
Oh, nice.
And so that was really good. But yeah, I mean, lots of those 2 went really well, like I said, but a lot of other deals didn't necessarily go great. I wouldn't say I learned any similar expensive lessons that I got from my first 2 that are still teaching me. Yeah. But you know, you continue to learn things, and growing my portfolio wasn't the only thing I did last year either. I partnered with some people on like some flips. I trusted some people that to be like a PML, and they rug pulled on me. And so like, and I'm a guy that's like, I always make sure my PMLs are taken care of. I'm like very on the PML side all the way. But it really hurt when I got like rug pulled without actually like an explanation. They were just like, oh, actually I don't have the money. And it was like the day before closing. And that was painful because it's like, I can't even do anything about that. So, I mean, it's definitely a really strong year of like growing my portfolio, like we said, but also just having to learn the lessons of like these are some steps to take, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds to me like you got a whole lot of experience now that prepares you for,
Mhm.
what your future is here. So, what is your primary focus? I know we've been talking a lot more recently because we touch a lot of deals, we generate a lot of deal flow, and I'm just now getting to a point where I'm like, well, maybe I should start to acquire some of these
Mhm.
because I've been pretty risk adverse to like actually owning the real estate because of the nature of who I am as an entrepreneur. Like I'm doing so many things, like that's just a big liability to me, and it's like
Yeah.
scary, and it's been a big hurdle. But we're starting to make cash, active cash, where it's like
Mhm.
we need to put it somewhere so I don't have to give it to the government. And so let's start buying stuff. And so that's why we've been connecting more and talking about how we can possibly collaborate and do
Yeah.
things like that. So what's your goals here? I know you went from 4 to, you said 16. That's a 4x. So that's pretty big,
Mhm.
plus some other things in the meantime. So what's your
Yeah.
goals here?
So I started the year with a goal of buying and then selling once they get finished, but buying and selling 2 flips a month.
Hmm,
Um, I have 4 under contract right now, so
nice.
I kind of didn't didn't really keep with that goal. I kind
Yeah.
of just like started sending it on things. Um, the 3 of those are closing like the next 2 weeks or so,
Oh,
and then
nice.
one of them a probate issue came up, so
Mm,
now it's just the waiting game until it's ready.
mm.
But I told them I wanted to keep it because I want it, so we're just gonna wait for that one. But yeah, so I'm doing a lot of fix and flips. I sometime last year I kind of stopped. I had started last year like kind of raising capital for other people's deals. I was
Yeah, I
like,
saw
hey,
that.
I'm gonna be a connector. I'm gonna help PMLs find deals that they can lend on. I'm gonna help with the underwriting and all of that. I had 2 go bad, and I mean I firmly plan to, um, if my PMLs don't get their money back out of those deals, which kind of seems a little bit likely, I'm gonna make them whole.
Yeah.
And that's just something I'm gonna do
Yeah.
because I'm a grown up, even if the borrowers weren't.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm like, okay, what could I really have done? Like, you can't control a borrower
Hmm.
after you've connected the deal. So for me, it was like, well, I've been underwriting all these like shitty single family home flips for other people. Why not just underwrite my own
Yeah.
and then bring the PMLs that I would bring to other people's deals, bring them to my
Get rid
deals
of.
instead? Because I trust myself
Hmm.
to take care of them, right? And so I've gotten away from capital raising for other people's deals. So now it's like, well, now every time I raise capital, it's like I can tie that to like a specific deal in the
Hmm.
future, you know? So I'm doing a lot of flips. I'm also still doing acquisitions. I started the year with a goal of adding 20 doors to my portfolio. And then kind of quickly, I had got to like 5, and I was like, okay,
I need
well,
a bigger goal.
I need a bigger goal. So I'm aiming for 50 by the end of the year.
Nice.
Um, like having like 70 doors before I get out of the army would be kind of a cool thing to say.
Yeah. What's that?
So
And
that's kind of my goals for this year.
so-
Yeah.
well, that's something that I like to hear because that's something I feel like we can collaborate on. My
Hmm.
focus has been recently, well, I say focus, my interest has moved towards like low entry sub 2 seller finance deals just because, again, like we're making the cash, might as well put it in somewhere that we can turn into more cash as an
Hmm.
asset. But then at the same time, like I'm a marketer at my core. I'm much like Pace in that sense. Like I'm a marketer first, real estate comes second. So like when I look at this, I'm like, well, I want to do some ridiculous shit if I'm gonna
Hmm.
do it. Like I want to do like 100 doors in 100 days or some ridiculous shit because that's what I can market online. Like
Right.
that's what I really do. Having 100 doors would be great. It makes money, hurrah. But like somebody else got to like be the operator partner, like do the things. Some of the reasons why we've talked because like I just don't have the bandwidth to even think about
Yep.
managing that. But could I pull 100 sub 2 deals, all less than 50K entry into the ecosystem right now? Like 100%. And so that's kind of where my focus has been at. Is like I have the identity, the presence to get people interested. I don't yet have the real estate experience under my belt to be confident in taking private money myself, like
Hmm.
for a deal, right? Because in that light, like, could I just make sure that like I have it covered in my own pockets if I need to? Sure. And then that's always the case. But like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to take any more losses than I have to.
Hmm.
So
That's really interesting though. I wanna touch on, you said like you don't feel like you have the real estate experience to acquire and then take responsibility for other people's money like that. But that's like, I know you're running Dealmaker Academy. You're like you have like a lot of knowledge, and I think like part of that, like you have like a very like, at least from your perspective, is like I have no experience, but I have a lot of textbook,
mm,
right? I have a lot of textbook, and you have the proof of concept on acquisitions, and I
yeah,
don't think like having only acquisitions experience is bad. I mean, there's entire teams built out where it's like you have acquisitions people that like never touch dispo.
Yeah.
You have acquisitions people that never touch project or property management.
Yeah.
That's not their thing.
Right.
The acquisitions people like get it under contract and then they pass it to the underwriter. The
Yeah.
underwriter passes it to project management. Project management passes it to property management, and then it's done, right? So I mean, I wouldn't say you don't have any experience. I mean, you're running deal makers. You just said you could probably pull like just sub 2 deals in the next month, like if you wanted to, and you could. And so, being able to create that rapport with your sellers and being able to pitch that, that's a valuable skill. And I'm not like the best fix and flipper in the world, you know. I'm not gonna be, but there's like when I did my very first flip, I had no experience. I just kind of sent it.
Yeah.
Did a bad job. Georgia thinks I made them money. I'm always going to be mad about that. But it's like, I don't have to, for me, it's like as a business owner or entrepreneur or whatever, like I don't want to be at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm doing acquisition and underwrite and project and property and dispo.
Right.
I don't want to do all of it. You know, I have to do all of it right now. It's just kind of where I'm at in my business.
Yeah,
Once I get a couple of these sold, I completely plan to hire a couple people to just kind of full-time like underwrite / like coordinate with project managers. Just because like that's hours a week off my plate.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm still working this W-2. You know, it's like I get home from work at let's say 6, and I give my daughter a hug, and I poke my son on the nose because he's 10 months old, and then I'm in my office like at home, and it's like that sucks.
Yeah.
And I know the why. You know, I get it. Like I'm gonna get out of that once I get out of the Army, but it's also like I don't want to get out of the Army, and my wife has this concern. She's like, what if you get out of the Army and then you come home from whatever you did for work that day, and you're in your office at 6:30 instead of hanging out with the kids? And I'm like, I can't let that happen. So that like I'm already planning to like make my first kind of hires in the next couple of months once I get some of these flips sold.
You know, actually, you just triggered an interesting thought in my mind, because we talked about W-2. My W-2 job is being the CEO of what we're doing at Dealmakers. You know, so like I think that I just caught myself in an excuse that I just talked about other people making too, and that's that I get so wrapped up in what I currently do that I get, again, sometimes risk adverse to actually running that. But to the point that you just made, and honestly, it's a Dealmakers theme to talk about collaboration. So like the true answer for me would be find somebody that is passionate about that role as an operator of a real estate portfolio and bring my part of acquisitions, and then collaborate together. Yeah. And so, you know, shout out to you for kind of unlocking that thought from right there, because like that was an excuse that I was just making for myself, and no one's ever called me on that shit. So I appreciate that. That was good. Yeah, that's cool. That was awesome. So you're in Owners Club as well.
I am.
So tell me how this, and I've got to, again, watch this. When we first met was right at Squad Up, or right, we connected right around. Yeah, right around Squad Up time last year. So I watched this whole journey for not just you, but lots of people. And I've seen the tremendous impact that it's had on people. Obviously, Pace is a phenomenal leader. As a community leader, I strive to mentor and guide and teach people in any level of similar light to what he does. So tell us a little bit how Owners Club has made an impact in your business.
Yeah, so I definitely think that at least the results of it have been going from, like, I think I started when I went to Squad Up last year. I had those 2 seller finance deals and one of those sub 2 deals. And then between Squad Up last year and this year has been like the year in Owners Club. Yeah. And I mean, we kind of talked about where I'm at right now, right? And so can all of that be attributed to Owners Club? Probably not, right? Like, I mean, most of that is stuff a lot of it is probably stuff I would have tried to do anyways. Yeah. The people that I connected with, I mean, I'm doing deals with people in Owners Club. But also it taught me a lot of it's not real estate. Yeah. Like, Owners Club is not real estate, which is completely different from a lot of what Pace does, right? Pace and Jamil, it's all real estate. Gator is real estate. It's lending. Sub 2 is real estate. It's acquisitions, right? And then you go into dispo, but it's all real estate. But Owners Club, like, they use examples out of the real estate world because that's their background. But I mean, there's people in Owners Club that are like, one lady, Tracy, she's great. She's out of Charlotte. She has a candy store. One dude is selling energy gummy bears. Oh, I've heard of this before. Yes. So I'm like, well, I need some of those first of all. But I mean, so there's people in Owners Club, like lots of people that are doing real estate, lots of people that are doing lending, a lot of wholesalers, flippers, whatever. But it's really, Owners Club is not about the real estate. It's about the business practices. And that's something that I didn't have any business practices prior to that, right? Like, I mean, in hindsight, that was a terrible decision of mine to join Owners Club because I wasn't ready and I had no idea, right? I had FOMO and I sent it. I'm like much more prepared for it this year, and I'm really excited about it this year, especially with me getting out of the Army in 6 months. It's gonna be like I'm gonna be capable of taking more advantage of everything that we're being taught.
Yeah, I love that breakdown you just gave of what Owners Club is, because let me tell you a funny story. So I joined Sub 2 February 1st or so last year. I'm a business builder. That's what I do. I'm not a real estate guy, especially at this time, and so I'm like just getting into it. I get into it and I meet with all of these Sub 2 students. Pace like put me on his story because I said I'm generating leads, and like 50 people booked on my calendar, and so like kind of launched fast for me. And so many people I talked to, almost everybody I talked to, had no idea or no experience in actually running a business and how to do that. They might have learned all there is to learn about creative finance, and they might know all there is to know about wholesaling or real estate in general. But then you're like, all right, well, make the business grow. They're like, what scale? Like, I don't know how to do that. And so this whole thing started for me after meeting with all those folks. I'm like, well, damn, my true value add to this ecosystem is teaching people how to build a business. Lead generation is a small portion of how you grow a business, but like there's foundational pieces of how you grow and scale a business. And I just saw so many investors that had no idea what that looked like. And so when I was sitting at Squad Up last year, this was before Zach and I got partnered together, and like before I knew what was going on, but I shit you not, I could pull out the pitch deck that I had already designed for my game plan of what I was going to do, right? And how it included our CEO program, right? Where I train people. And when Pace talked about Owners Club, I'm like, mother. Because I'm like, he literally just took the words out of my mouth. I'm like, these people don't know how to run a business, and they need to be taught how to run a business and how that ties into branding, social identity, and all the things that I'm really good at.
And that's one of the big things that Owners Club was this year. That's why you see me post on Facebook. And I was talking to Mason about it on the way over here. It's like, I don't like posting cool thing I did on Facebook used to make me throw up in my mouth. Because it's just like this feels inauthentic. But it's gotten to the point now where it's like I'm just posting like I posted a screenshot of like a wire that I had to make for a refi that the appraisal came in low, and I was like, well, I'm gonna make my PML whole on what I owe him. So I sent an extra 11 grand or something. It's fine. It's gonna cash flow the property. It's gonna be fine. But it's like I just posted that, and then everybody's like, wow, that's so cool. Would love to be one of your lenders. Would love to lend to you. And I'm just like,
crazy.
All I did was tell people what I'm doing, and like. That's something that I would say, like, if Owners Club did like nothing else for me this year, it was just like, hey, tell people what you're doing. It's not bragging. It's just like, if people don't know, then nobody's gonna like want to work with you.
I mean, yeah, dude, and that's exactly kind of the train of thoughts, like building that brand around who you are, and then vicariously that becoming your business. And if you look at Pace, I remember last year said specifically, I'm not in the business of real estate. I'm in the business of Pace Morby. And I remember being like, well, fuck yeah, I'm in the business of G Money. And I have been in the business of G Money for a long time. So long before I knew what I was doing, I was just posting on social media because that's what bodybuilders did, right? Like you just fucking flex and you do the thing. And so that's just what I did. And I grew my first initial wave of following just by doing that. And then like, well, damn, this social media stuff works. And then I started making money off of it and getting free shit. And I'm like, this shit really works. And then it's just been like nonstop. And I can see it's just like you just said, like now where I am now, even 12 months ago, before I knew anything, people would come approach me as an expert because of the way that I look online. Even though at the time I was not talking about real estate at all. I was not saying, hey, I'm a great wholesaler, none of that. I hadn't done any deals. I was not talking about it at all. But just by having a presence online, followers, and a voice in which you share and engage, people are like, he's got to know what's.
And the thing is, you don't need 1 million followers.
Right.
Like I have PMLs coming to me saying, hey, I want to be a lender on one of your deals, potentially, like whenever you get one, let me know. I have more of those than I have like personal bandwidth to do deals with. And so like, and that's why like for me, just like, that's a good problem to have. But I mean, people have been talking to me about good problems to have for the past month. I'm like, yeah, I've got good problems to have. There's still problems. Please keep coming to me with money, guys. Like that's not what I meant. But it's for me, it's like, that is my catalyst that like I have to scale to maintain these relationships with these PMLs.
Yeah.
Because like I don't want to like never do a deal with this PML, but I also don't have the bandwidth to do it right now. It's like I have 4 flips under contract that in the next 3 weeks will be 3 of them are going to be closing. So I'm going to be bringing PMLs onto those, right? But it's like that's only 3. I definitely can't handle any more than that. Yeah. It's like you're crazy. Yeah. But so that's why like a lot of what I've been doing with these flips and these projects is I either identify a really good project manager that just wants to be hired to do good work. And that's, I have him on like 2 or 3 of them right now because it's just been super great working with him. He literally, I have him go into the house. He gives me his budget down to like the cent. The first one he did for me, he came in within 0.05% of what his original estimate was.
That's wild.
Which is really important when you're submitting budgets to your lender for like, hey, I need to be reimbursed $50,000 for this renovation. And then he comes in, it's like, yeah, I was 0.05% under what I originally estimated. I'm just like, dude, just keep doing that.
That's
So like having good project managers that's their pride, right? But I have another one who I purchased a property to flip in February, and we'll have it listed probably in the next 2 weeks. It was like late February or something.
Wow.
And like job got done really fast, and he just wants to split it 50-50 with me. And I'm like, dude, I'm happy to split it 50-50 with you. I don't have the bandwidth to manage subs. Like that's like my main thing. That's what stopped me from doing flips last year. Is like I don't have the bandwidth to manage subs. I like talking to money. I like underwriting. I do. Like it's time consuming. That's why I have to delegate it at some point. But like I like it. It's fun. It's putting the puzzle together. But I don't want to talk to subs. I mean, not that I don't want to talk to them. I can't talk to all of them every day, all the time.
Yeah.
I can't do that part of the project management, right? So
we've just now we're not necessarily doing a traditional flip. We're doing a novation rehab where we lock it up on a novation agreement and then bring the capital, which is essentially like a flip without closing twice. First time we've taken any step forward on this, and it's again like all the things that we've talked about. It's like bandwidth is a huge thing for me. Like how can I even think about doing something like that? I already managed like 50 people, and there's 300 community members. Like there's no way I can do more. We recently got connected to a company called Quick Fix Flips. You ever heard of them?
No.
So they're pretty cool. They're like I don't want to say nationwide, but they're in multi-markets, and they do project management and GC stuff, and they do like set live stream cameras up so I can like watch into all the stuff and like do all of the tedious project management oversight stuff that I couldn't do. So it gives us the ability to have the insight and do that, and gives me a lot more like.
Now, do they bring you the properties as well?
No, so we bring the deals, and then I just basically we work with them. They do all the actual renovation or rehab, and then we turn around and list it on the market for the novation ones. But it also has opened up the conversations for how, like, because it's almost to me like I'm just passing on too much money, right? Like we sell so many deals to flippers, and it's like, all right, well, they're flipping it for a reason, you know, because they're gonna make more money than we're gonna make on wholesaling it. So like, why don't I go that step?
I hate it. I hate like seeing instances of like wholesalers like losing deals because they couldn't find an end buyer. I'm just like, look, man, like if it was a good deal to wholesale, if it was a good deal to flip, right? Like it's a better deal to wholesale. I have one wholesaler who has brought me a bunch of stuff in the Augusta area because I don't have time to do direct to seller. But he's brought me a bunch of deals in the Augusta area. I've seen it like sometimes he double closes, sometimes it's just a regular assignment, but I'm like he's making like 20 to 30, sometimes 40 grand on some of these. And I don't care because it underwrites. As long as it underwrites like to my numbers, it's like I don't care how much you're making, right? As my acquisition partner. And so for me, it's like, okay, like worst case scenario, I run out of bandwidth and he sends me a deal. He's like, hey man, I really want you to buy this deal. I'm just like, dude, I really want to buy it. I don't have any bandwidth. My project managers are maxed out. Like I can't. That's a better deal to flip than to flip than it is to wholesale. Yeah. So like from his perspective as the acquisition dude, it's like he should have if you're doing wholesaling, pick a market, build a crew out, and then you can just pick which ones that you want to flip or not. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I think the thing that holds a lot of people back when they're in that wholesaler role is the access to capital. They're like, how I don't have the money to do this. Like, how am I going to be able to do this? And then to the point that I kind of made earlier and you called me out on is that like it's the fear of like, well, I don't know what to do. I haven't done this yet. And so like, not only do I got to figure out how to raise money, then I got to figure out how to do the flip. And so my thought is partner with somebody, as it kind of already alluded. Like, let me find somebody that's already done this. I'll bring the deal, show me how it works, and then maybe we can run more if I want to do more. But to the point that you're making, like if you're a wholesaler, you got to what underwrites to be a good deal in your hand.
Yep.
Like you stand to make more money if you just find somebody to work through the whole flip with than just sell the contract for 10 grand, which because a lot of people are just getting 10 grand out of that, you know? So like you make 10 grand here, or you could go partner, learn, wait a little bit longer and make 3 times as much money on the flip side. So I do agree with that. I think it's something that if you're confident in your ability to generate good deals, it's almost like, why would you not?
Right.
If you know it's a good deal,
if it's a good deal for someone else to buy from you and flip, then like make an extra 20 grand on whatever they're gonna make and keep it.
Yeah.
But I mean that's honestly though, like that's having that situation where like people are like wholesaling and they've got good deals and they're doing flips. It's allowed me to expand to more markets than I could do.
Yeah.
I have a full gut going on in Savannah because somebody was direct to seller there and she had no experience with a flip, but her boyfriend's a contractor. He's a carpenter and he can do all the project management and stuff. And she was kind of direct to seller, and she was like, "Hey, I'm not very bankable right now. Like, will you sponsor this loan for me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then it turned into like a little bit more. I'm like, "Okay, well, we're gonna split this." Like normally, I'm not necessarily splitting it 50-50 on a loan sponsorship, but like for this one, she's kind of project managing and I'm kind of bankrolling. So it's like, okay, like we're gonna split this one 50-50. But I mean, it's my first full gut.
Yeah.
But the numbers are great, and so I'm like super happy about it. Like happy to do that, you know. And so I think like for me, it's just like having those partnerships. Like I don't need to. If I can get up in a position where it's just like somebody brings me deals and then like we team up and we split it 50-50, that is like that's my end game.
Yeah.
I win, you know. If I'm making 50% of the deal, I win. If I'm making 80-90%, but then I have to like find a project manager that I don't know yet, and I like, oh, you have all the project management in place, dude, let's split it 50-50. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know,
Love that.
more even depending on like the type of deal. I have a guy in Cleveland that I met a couple weeks ago at the PML Mastermind in Atlanta. He's doing fix and flips and stuff, and he sent me a deal. He's like, because we had talked about doing loan sponsorships, and so we're about to do our first deal together. He's gonna run the renovation, and then he's going to like handle the dispo because that's his market.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm coming on as loan sponsor. We're gonna partner on these, and we're gonna partner on a bunch of other ones because Cleveland's a great market.
Yeah, Cleveland is a great market. I love that.
And I'm not in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to be.
Yeah. And still making money in Cleveland.
Yes,
there we
exactly.
go. I love it, dude. That's a lot of what we're based on. Collaboration. Like, how can I do more by doing it together than trying to do it alone? That's another PACE principle that we all kind of get from that. So, Jackson, I appreciate you coming and spending some time with us, man, and dropping some game on what you've been doing and the private money stuff. And I look forward to some of the conversations we can have off screen and how we can collaborate and do some of these deals, because we got a whole lot of people out there generating opportunities and a lot of places to connect to get more deals done to make more money.
And I mean, Florida is one of my markets anyways, and I know you do a lot in Florida. So.
Yeah, for sure. Tell people where they can connect with you online.
So I'm on Facebook. You can get me at if you just look Jackson Pierce. Right now, my profile picture is me with Pace and Jamil on it. I'm also on Instagram at realjackson.pierce, I think, and then I'm also on YouTube, like Jackson_Pierce or something like that.
We'll get them all up on the screen next time. No worries. Well, man, I appreciate you coming through and dropping some game on us. Looking forward to the rest of the weekend at Squad Up. Lots of great network connections to make, man. So
absolutely.
Appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one, man.
Cool.
Do it.
All right. Peace.